One of my favorite chapters is called Keeping the Substance in Motion, and it's about managing multi-party, multi-issue negotiations. It's typical for me to have 20 or 25 people sitting around the table, all representing hundreds, thousands, sometimes even millions of people, and we need to cover 20, 30, 40, if we consider all the sub-issues, hundreds of issues that make up the ultimate product that we're moving towards. In order to manage that kind of dynamic, what we typically do is start with what I call workshopping the issue. So workshopping all of the issues is where you really unlock them. You discover what the sub-issues are, what the critical concerns are, what information may be necessary, but you're not yet negotiating. You're not trying to make any trade-offs, but rather just dissect the issue. From there, you try to reach agreements in concept on some of the easier issues. Those agreements then get written up as text, as draft text. It's always a very large leap from an agreement in concept to the text, because as we all know, once you write something down, it looks very different from what you were imagining during your conversations. So I always have to warn people between that. I know we're going to need to refine the language. Don't get too nervous about it, but I still always get a number of calls of people who are really outraged when they see the initial text. But from there, we refine the text and refine the text until we have consensus tentatively. So we call that a tentative agreement because we may need to open up an issue because it's connected to another issue further down the road. So we call those tentative agreements. And once we have agreements in concept and refined language on most of the issues, it's usual that we're stuck with a handful of difficult issues. And in order to get closure, what we finally need to do is link those issues in order to be sure that everybody gets a little bit more from the agreement. What we've done is we've reached agreement on so much that there's momentum and incentive. Nobody wants to lose the value of all the work they've already done. And that forces, that's what I call the march to closure, to get final closure on the entire package.